What's going on? We're back for another 5:30 Club. I'm Rodney,
I'm Keith.
and this video series is an opportunity for us to talk about how we get after the day, how we start the day, how we sometimes don't start the day, and talking through just the things we do. Like, what's our time management? Do we journal? Do we meditate? Do we work out? Do we eat? Do we not eat? All of the things. We want to hear from you and figure out the things that you're doing, but we're going to just jump in because we got a topic for today. Keith, tell them about it.
Yeah. Yesterday you said SCRUM. You talked about SCRUM. You briefly mentioned it, but one thing I'm asking you, like, how do you use it daily? And then for everybody else, like, explain what we do with it, because I'm curious.
We should probably briefly talk about SCRUM.
Yep. Because it's important to our daily management. So I guess I could talk about it at a high level. I'm curious to know how you use it daily.
Like me personally, and like my family and stuff like that.
I mean, just however it matters. Yeah. So,
okay.
Like, SCRUM is I mean, there's another name for it.
Project management methodology. Agile.
Yeah. Your face is like half, so you're doing a great job camera management this morning.
Are you being sarcastic?
Yeah, no, I see the half of your head. Like,
really? That's strange.
Yeah. There you go.
What about now?
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
It's really just a project management methodology used in tech often, where you define a list of things to do that anybody can accomplish, and based on your availability and time, you take those lists, you check them out of the to-do list, and you put them into a doing list, so then people know who's doing what. And then when you're done, you put it in a complete list. So it's not assigning tasks to any one person. It's just saying, these are the things that need to get done, and we need to get them done. So everybody should be capable of doing it. And if you're not, you need to ask for help, kind of thing. And then you review it at the end of every week, how'd it go, what needs to change, evaluate it. And so we use it as a weekly project management, where at the beginning of every week, we set out to say, hey, these are the priorities for the week. These are the things that need to get done. And then daily, though, we manage it a little differently, because it's not an engineering product development type of thing. But I'm curious, like,
it still works the same way.
It still works the same, but how do you leverage it, like, in planning out your day?
So a piece of all of what Keith just mentioned is the daily scrum, which is kind of like a rugby scrum. Yeah. Everybody gets together, and in a typical scenario, it would be in person. Everybody would get together, or they call them a stand-up, where everybody would come around, and they're meant to last no longer than 5 minutes. Everybody goes for anywhere from a minute to 3 minutes, answering some questions like, what did you do yesterday? What are you going to do today? And what got in your way yesterday? And one of the big goals of Scrum is transparency. It's transparency for what needs to happen, what kind of priority it has on it, and then who's doing it. Because when somebody checks it out and puts it into doing, we know who's working on it, and start to understand the dependencies between all the things that need to happen. So in the daily, to your question, in the daily, we're just reviewing, like, oh, okay, well, here's what I got done yesterday. I couldn't get this done because I needed this thing from you, or I'm waiting for a response from somebody else, and I'm planning on doing this today. And I would say another big component of it, at least for what we're doing, not so much in how we use it for family, but we use it, we basically score our productivity. So we know how many things we can get done in a given week based on other things we have going on. So we can be really efficient and effective in planning the week, and not overload ourselves and not underload ourselves. For me, for planning, so my wife and I use it. So we have a scrum that we do on the weekend. We start on Sunday, and then Monday through Friday, we just try and do a daily stand-up. It's usually while we're feeding a kid, or while one of us is in a car, and it's just like, hey, what'd you get done yesterday? What'd you do? And we actually both look at it very differently, but it's been really nice for us to organize all the thoughts in our head and get them down. We have a board next to our dining room, and then like, we use Trello. It's an app that can be used to manage this process. Keith and I use it. My wife and I use it. And then I take all that and I have my own personal list that I kind of mix between a journal and a personal Scrum board that just breaks out my priorities for the day. So I take all those lists and I'm like, okay, I need to do this thing from here and then this thing from here. And I put them into my priority list so that I don't go back to the entire list anymore because that can be overwhelming for me. I just go back to my personal priority list and say, all right, these are the things I got to get done today. And then
Now, do you do that? Do you do that every day, every morning, like before our Scrum call? Like, do you go and
I usually do it after our Scrum call, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I tried it. Well, and this is we're in an interesting phase because I'm just coming back from paternity leave, so I'm getting back into it. So yesterday was my first day back doing it.
Right.
So, but I try and do it after our morning Scrum call.
So since this is interesting to me, since the whole point of Scrum daily call is what are you doing today, like, but you look at that afterwards, like how do you manage?
Well, I have an idea because like we're meeting on specific business needs.
Sure.
So I've either looked at the board the night before or the morning up, or I just have an idea of what's going on in the week. I mean, but there are times where I just blank and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing yet today. And then you'll say something, and it's like, oh yeah, I need to do that too. Or
no, that's good to know. Like, because I've never known that, and sometimes we're in these calls, and I think you've got to figure it out. But it's also
I improv. Look, I'm a dungeon master, and I'm good at improv. I don't.
Our Scrum calls are at 10:30 Eastern, right? They're 7:30 Pacific, so there's a time management thing there, right? So for me, I look at the Trello board every day when I do my journal, and I start listing out all my priorities for the day. So I take a look at that, and I look at some other things like my personal calendar, personal to-do list, and all that other stuff, and I throw it on there. So I try to have that before that daily Scrum, and then I know. But I also will reference that to-do list. Like if it's 11 a.m. and I've knocked off everything I needed to do, well, I've got some time potentially to do more. So I'll go back to the do.
Then I'll jump back to the board myself.
Just backflow it. Yeah. No, cool.
Do you use it? So I use the Scrum personally outside of just stuff
we're not there personally yet because that takes buy-in from everybody.
The whole team. Everybody's got to be in.
Yeah, everybody's got to be in. So we have a different, my wife has a different task management style, and it works. So I'm trying to get Scrum introduced. We haven't gotten there yet, but we do what we need to do to make sure that it gets done.
That makes a lot of sense. And I would say I've talked to a lot of software, or every time I meet a software engineer, I ask them if they're familiar with it. And it's really mixed, 50-50 on whether they like. Some of them are like, that's BS. It's just a way to micromanage me. And some of them are like, like we're highly effective and efficient.
Yeah.
And I think it comes down to something we talk about a lot, which is like the principles and the culture that drives, like that's underlying the team. And for us, transparency is so important. Like we want it to be out to our business, like the people working with us and our customers and our partners and our guests. And I think when you have a culture where negative information about somebody can be used against them, Scrum is not awesome because it exposes everything as it's supposed to.
We accept, like, if we start a day and say, and sometimes we'll start a day, but like yesterday, I just wasn't in it. I did nothing. And
what
so
got
today I got to make up for that myself.
Yep.
So that's, I mean, to your point, that's part of our culture and what we do. The last thing I'll say on Trello is on 538 podcast. So 538.com.
I still haven't listened to it. I need to do it.
Yeah, their podcast. They use Trello. They mentioned it in one of their recent episodes. I was like, sweet. Anyway,
do they have a discount code so we can get off money?
So that leads to the question: are you in the comments? Like, do you know about Scrum? Do you use Scrum?
Yes or no?
Do you use Trello? Like, yes or no? Like, let us know. I'm curious. So anyway, that's the daily. Not the New York Times, the daily. That's the MIC 5:30 a.m. daily.
Is it the Rodney Keith daily?
The Rodney Keith daily.
You know what? You're just daily scrumming with us. Thanks for joining.
Oh, that's perfect. I like that. Today is the daily Scrum video. All right.
All right. Peace.
Peace.